Devil's Bit. The Devil's Bit Irish Bearnán Éile is a mountain in County Tipperary, Ireland, which is 478 1570 feet above sea level at its highest elevation. It lies to the northwest of the town of Templemore. The mountain is usually ascended via the townsland of Barnane. There is a car park at the base. History. According to local legend, the mountain got its name because the devil took a bite out of it. There is a small gap in the mountain between one outcrop of rock known as the Rock and another small plateau. The bite the devil allegedly took made this gap. The legend suggests that the devil broke his teeth taking this bite and spat the rock of Cashel from his mouth to where it now stands. The Book of Dima was supposedly discovered in a cave on the mountain in 1789. It is an illuminated manuscript copy of the four Gospels and was written in the monastery of St. Cronin in Riscrea sometime during the 8th century. According to legend, Cronin ordered his scribe Dima to produce the manuscript before sunset on that day. He then used miraculous powers to ensure that the sun did not set for 40 days, and Dima spent all of this period completing the manuscript without feeling the need to eat or sleep. The manuscript disappeared following the dissolution of the monasteries in the 16th century. There is some debate about whether or not the manuscript was actually found on the Devil's Bit amid claims that it could not have survived without damage in an outdoor environment for over 2 centuries. The Book of Dima is currently housed in the library of Trinity College, Dublin. The mountain was the scene of a mass anti-tithe meeting on 25 July 1832. The meeting was part of a wider campaign of resistance to the payment of tithes, 1/10 of the value of arable produced to the Church of Ireland by the majority Catholic population. According to press reports of the time, over 50,000 people attended, many coming from as far away as Company Galway, although the attendance would have been larger had there not been confusion about whether or not the meeting was cancelled. Although local folklore states that Daniel O'Connell attended the meeting, it is almost certain that he was not present as he was attending parliamentary debates in Westminster at the time. A semi-fictional account of the meeting was given by Samuel Lover in Legends and Stories of Ireland 1834, where he refers to a mock burial of the tithes by local peasantry. The tower on the approach to the summit is known as Carden's Folly. The Cardens were an Anglo-Irish aristocratic family who arrived in Ireland during the 17th century. They purchased estates in Templemore and Barnane and became the principal landlords in the area in subsequent centuries. The most notable Carden was undoubtedly John Rutter Carden, 1811–1866, better known as Woodcock. As well as constructing the Folly, he built a magnificent family home on the lower slopes of the mountain. Although the house was demolished in the early 20th century, the ruins of the walled garden can still be seen. In 1854, Woodcock made a notorious attempt to kidnap a lady, Eleanor Arbuthnot, with whom he had become obsessed. A detailed history of the Carden family has been published by a descendant, Arthur Eustace Carden. A cross was erected on the rock in 1953–1954 in celebration of the Marian year dedicated by the Roman Catholic Church. A committee was formed and planning of the work began in early 1953, and construction began in September of that year. It was constructed by the Duggan brothers. The project manager was Stephen "Steedy" Gray of Templemore. Work was completed at a cost of approximately IRPS 2,000. The cross was officially blessed by the Archbishop of Cashel and Imlay, Most Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Kinane, on Sunday, 22 August 1954. It stands 45 feet high and has a span of 25 feet. The base of 340 tons is 5 feet squared and 10 feet deep. All tools and materials for this construction project were carried to the rock by hand. Cross is presently illuminated at night. Holy Mass is celebrated at the base of the rock each year on Rock Sunday, which is the closest Sunday to the feast of St. James 25 July. A statue of the Virgin Mary was erected in 1988 on the eastern side of the rock. 1980 article in the journal Nature described the finding on the mountain of the earliest record of a fossil flora containing Cooksonia-type sporangia. Topography. The southwestern extremity of the Slieve Bloom Range just touches Tipperary at Riscrea. The valley in which Riscrea stands separates this end of Slieve Bloom from the Devil's Bit Range, which begins immediately south of the town and runs southwest. This mountain has a singular gap in its contour very conspicuous from the railway, from which it was formerly called Bearnán Éile, i.e., the Gapped Mountain of Ely, the old territory in which it was situated, which is still the name of the parish. The other chief summits are Kilduff Mountain 1462 feet, 445. 6M, Borrisno 1471 feet, 448. 4M, and Benduff 1399 feet, 426. 4M, all near Devil's Bit in a line to the northwest, and 4 miles 6. 4 km southwest of Devil's Bit, Knockannora 1429 feet, 435. 6M and Latterog 1257 feet, 383. 1M. The Devil's Bit offers expansive views of the surrounding countryside. When the cross was erected, it was said that 9 counties can be viewed from the summit. Tipperary itself, Clare, Cork, Galway, Kilkenny, Laois, Limerick, Offaly, and Waterford. There is doubt as to whether any part of County Cork is actually visible. One can see the Knockmealdown and Camarog Mountains in Waterford, along with the Galtees, and, to the northwest, Lough Derg and the River Shannon. The triangulation station which marks the highest point of the mountain is on the Long Rock, which lies to the east of the gap. The Long Rock can be climbed if one passes through the gap and follows the pathway to the right. There is a military firing range on the western slopes of the mountain,